Well, what a difference a weekend can make. The local bourse managed a rebound in finance and resource stocks from Friday's 6-month low. Watching all the action was Charlie Aitken from Bell Potter Securities. Well, Charlie Aitken, it was a bounce today, but what sort of a bounce?
Well, in the stockbroking industry, Ticky, we take any green as good green, particularly after the last 2 weeks. Look, it started off very nervously and just gradually got better as the day went on, as the wave of sort of midday selling didn't turn up. So resource stocks doing a little bit better, banks doing a little bit better, but you'd call it a timid bounce. But look, it wasn't terrible, and some of the stocks that have led the declines actually led the rally today. US futures are pointing up, the euro is up, and there was just and the Asian region was quite firm too. So fingers crossed the worst of this might have been last week.
Well, as we've just heard, Qantas has detailed plans for its maintenance operations, job losses, of course. But what did shareholders make of it all?
Well, shareholders probably anticipated this. This has been well leaked to the press and probably guided by management. Interestingly, in a market today where risky stocks generally bounced 1 or 2%, Qantas shares were flat. I think there's a bunch of investors who are still questioning Qantas's overall strategy, what Qantas actually looks like in the future. And really, in risky markets, just about the last thing you buy is an airline stock. And unfortunately, Qantas got left out of the rally today.
Indeed. Orica is to proceed with a joint venture ammonium nitrate plant on Western Australia's Burrup Peninsula. How important is that for the company?
Well, interestingly, Orica was one of the few mining services companies that actually rallied today. It was quite a bad day in mining services. Those stocks got belted again, even in the rising market. Orica bucking the trend there. Look, to go ahead on this CapEx shows that they're committed to the project, firstly, but also that they've got some sort of future vision on the demand for ammonium nitrate, which is obviously used in dynamite and fertilisers. But the market liked it today because it actually is the next leg of growth for Orica. So I think it was a small positive today, and you might see a little bit of broker upgrades tomorrow morning to the stock.
And interesting, because we've been hearing very different things between, BHP Billiton and Boart Longyear as to what sort of growth is there for the taking in Western Australia.
It's interesting, though. The market has marked down all mining services and engineering stocks. And the interesting part of today's Orica development is the contract to build the plant was given, it's an $800 million contract, to a Spanish company. So there was no Australian company that actually benefited from that, directly from that contract, the top-line contract. Look, Ticky, the market has thrown out the baby with the bathwater in mining services stocks. There's still going to be an investment cycle in Western Australia. It might be quite as grandiose as first anticipated, but you'll see from here some sort of levelling out of the mining services stocks as people realise there is still plenty of work being done in Western Australia.
And finally, Elders has reported half-year profit results.
Yes. Now, that was a little bit complicated because the way Elders report things is a little bit of a hodgepodge. You know, the headline profit was $40 million, but $34 million of that was a once-off gain from the tax office, a court case they won versus the tax office. Look, the company made about $6 million, which is not too bad, but, Elders shares trade more like a call warrant over whether they can get their debt down. They've still got about $400 million of debt, but they've got a good CEO in there now in Malcolm Jackman, who's turned around other tough situations such as this. And look, the shares are unchanged, but it wasn't actually a bad result.
No doubt we'll bounce along this week. Charlie Aitken, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Ticky.